Hey, what is up guys? Welcome to XT, and today let's talk about data recovery and what actually happens after you delete the files from HDD, SSD or flash drive, and also how to recover them. Usually if you delete file in your computer the usual way, it goes directly into your recycle bin. What happens there is everybody knows that the file still remains there and later on you can restore it from there. It's just an extra folder for your junk files. When it comes to removing unwanted files, each of the major operating system has some sort of trash bin. This is a staging area where your files when you first hit delete. In Linux, it's usually called the trash bin. For Mac OS, it's simply the trash, and for Windows, it's the recycle bin. Just like the recycle bin in your kitchen, the stuff that you toss in your computer's recycle bin doesn't disappear immediately. Until it fills up and gets emptied, you can still go in and easily pick your stuff out pretty much intact. Files gets purged from recycle bin in two ways. When it gets full, the system will start removing them, which means it will permanently delete them on the first basis. Or you can choose to manually empty the recycle bin to free up disk space. When this happens, you can no longer restore your files by simply opening the recycle bin, right-clicking the file and restore. You won't find it in the recycle bin anymore. Beyond the trash bin. So what happens when a file gets emptied from the recycle bin? Let's focus a little bit more on it. The files that we see in your computer is simply and normal for us. We can say image file stored in HDD or SSD. We can also preview that. But whereas computer sees it in a zeros and ones. To be more significant, it's the file allocation table reference. This is where all the pieces gets connected to the file puzzle of that image that finally makes it an image file that you can preview. That's how it stores in any storage media. So when you delete a file permanently, your file doesn't instantly cease to exist. The computer only deletes the file allocation reference. It deletes only the points that were connected to the file puzzle and registers the space that used to take up before as empty. This actually gives the computer permission to write new files over it. So until your file is overwritten by new data, it's still sitting there on your disk somewhere, wholly intact. The only difference is that the file allocation table is no longer keeping the track of it. Considering all the things, you have probably guessed that it's not a good idea to start writing new files on your disk if you hope to recover a recently deleted file. The sooner you attempt a file recovery, the better your chances. On the other hand, if you wipe a disk and fill it to the capacity with something else, then you are in trouble. Then you can be almost certain that all the traces of the old files are gone. But if the disk or partition is very large, and if you have been conscientious about not writing any new data to it, then getting the deleted file back is fairly easy. So how do you recover files? Well, it's done by some softwares which helps to reconstruct the reference points and recover the files. And there are more powerful softwares which brings back the files even after you totally wipe down the HDD or SSD. Well, there are some people who wants to totally get rid of the files that were there in the storage drive. If you're one of them, then you better delete it permanently at first, delete it from your recycle bin, and then keep writing new files in your HDD over and over again. And there is one more way to get rid of it, and that's to physically destroy it. Well, nobody would do that. So break it, put a hammer on it, do anything you like if you want to get rid of the files that you don't want. Now, I want to recommend a data recovery software, and that is EaseUS Data Recovery Wizard. This is one of the software which recovers even after you totally wipe down your storage drive. I'll leave the links of this software in the description right below the like button. So that's file recovery in a nutshell. This has been very high level discussion of the overall process, but it should help you understand how file recovery works and why certain approaches are better than the others. You basically have two chances to undelete a file. Number one, by restoring it from your recycle bin or trash bin, and number two, by recovering it before it's overwritten by new data. Keep this in mind for the next time when you accidentally delete an important file. So guys, that's it. If you think this video helped you, make sure you hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. And until then, See you guys in the next one.
Yo.